The NXL World Cup for 2025 has concluded. Not only does it bring the end of the season, but it also brings about lots of new things. We have a tournament champ, a season champ, and we have relegation and promotion. So we have a lot to talk about this week. Hello everyone and welcome to Old Guy Paintball. My name is Craig and I am the host. Yes, the 2025 NXL professional paintball season has concluded with the World Cup tournament this past weekend. And with it, we have lots to talk about. First of all, some shout-outs. Tampa Bay Damage, congratulations. They won this tournament, the World Cup for 2025, in a very good fashion over PB Fit, 4-2. PB Fit had a great year last year and almost followed up with another win this year. But a shout out to PB Fit. They are the season series champion, say that fast, for 2025. A great year for them. They're pretty consistent and they beat out Red Legion in the end for the title. So that's the biggest things right off the bat. That's how it starts and how it ends. But it was a very exciting tournament. It was typical in that we had an oddity of teams that were pretty much nearly mercy ruled. There's some big point spreads and some very close games. So it was your standard tournament, nothing outlandish, but there were some good moments for lots of teams that had a chance. Congratulations to New Jersey Leverage. They made the Sunday Club for once. And with that guaranteed them surviving into 2026 if they so choose. I believe they finished one place ahead of the Royal City Sea Dogs, who also had a decent year. They also made a Sunday Club a while back, so they have secured spots for next year in the Pro Division if they so choose. We'll talk about that in a minute. Also, congratulations to the New York Wrecking Crew. They won the World Cup in semi-pro, but unfortunately with that win, it did not result in a series championship. That went to the Jungle Cats, I believe a team out of Georgia. They won the series championship in semi-pro, and they will get the promotion, if they choose, to the pro division in 2026. I'm sure they'll take it. Most teams usually do, at least for 1 year. But congratulations to them. They were very consistent throughout the year. They were a top 3 finisher in almost every tournament, so they didn't win, but they showed that consistency does pay off. New York Wrecking Crew had a good season. I believe they ended up like 4th or 5th, but still a solid season, and congratulations on that winning in that tournament for their division. But with that also, that means, unfortunately, NRG Elite was the last team in the pro division. They end up having like 97 points, and I believe the 19th place team had like 132. And we don't count the teams from Europe that got a few points, but they are unfortunately NRG Elite will be the team that will get relegated out of the pro division, and they will either go down to semi-pro or potentially they could either disband and reformulate under a new team name or something else. But they will no longer be in the pro division unless they would somehow buy a position back. And that's always a sad thing. It was a struggle between, Leverage and New York Extreme and NRG Elite were, going to the last tournament, those 3 were very close in points, and it literally came down to the last day. And like I said earlier, Leverage making a Sunday Club secured their survival, and Royal City Sea Dogs did just enough to maintain their position, and so they get a second year if they choose. With that also presents a couple of problems. Teams generally, they play 1 year, and it's always hard to come back in that second year. So because teams get sometimes picked apart by better teams. I'll go into more depth with that in a future video, some of the issues with the NXL and ways to possibly improve it for these teams in a future video. So make sure you hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of my future episodes and content that'll be coming up soon. But yeah, that's you always hate to see a team get relegated. But it is a fair way of always making sure you have a fresh body in the pro division, and it kind of keeps it shaked up so that teams don't get complacent. There's no draft or anything to, get better players. So it does force teams to at least try to avoid that. But overall, for the series in 2025, Paintball Fit did win, coming first with 1,052 points. Red Legion was second with 984, so it was a pretty good victory overall. I believe Red Legion got knocked out in the quarterfinals. And San Antonio X Factor came in third with 937. Good season for them. They went deep in the tournament. They're my sleeper. They did perform pretty well, and I was happy with how they did. With that, once again, the European teams were non-factors. Breakout Spa finished 7th in the tournament, and that's only because they were guaranteed a quarterfinal position in the being the series champions from Europe. So they were automatically guaranteed a top 8 almost instantly, and I believe they got pretty much smashed in their thing. I think they got mercy ruled 6-0. But overall, yeah, the Latin team, Papoletto, and the European teams just, once again, did not do very well. It just seems to me that the European teams are more of a very upper-level semi-pro team or a bottom-end pro team compared to everybody else. It's an interesting thing to have them in there. And again, that'll be something I will discuss in a future video of should they continue with this format or not. We also had a 3-man tournament. I believe that was on Wednesday. I didn't really watch any of that. Again, that'll be something else I'm going to discuss upcoming in the future videos with the NXL, whether or not they should continue with this going forward. But it does seem to be, they used a different format this time. It was East versus West, but they didn't have a playoff to see who was the overall champion. It's a very weird thing they're doing right now. And but it sounds like they will keep it for next year, and we'll discuss that in a future episode. But overall, congratulations again to the Jungle Cats out of Georgia, I believe, for getting promoted to the pro division. And congratulations to all those who won in all their divisions and throughout the World Cup. And it was, again, a very exciting year for paintball. We made some great strides with it, getting back on ESPN. And we have a lot to look forward to for 2026. And there's a lot of things that we're going to change. We're going into the offseason. It'll be interesting to see how things shake out with a lot of teams. Who cuts players, who adds players, do teams stay, go? And we'll discuss those as they happen throughout the offseason here. But, it's going to be interesting because every year something, shocking happens and, it shakes up the paintball world a little bit. But again, congratulations to all the teams. It was a very good year by the NXL. I give them all the credit. It's not easy in trying to get these games on TV and getting them streamed, but they have continued to work and get better every year. And it's, it showed a little bit this year. And once again, thankful to the NXL and Tom Cole for providing professional paintball and the NXL Major League Paintball Network for an outsource for our paintball sport that we all love. And with that, hey, I hope everybody enjoyed this year's, season. If you have any comments, put them down below, and, we'll see what they have to say, and maybe I would talk about some if there's anything interesting. We'll talk about it in a future episode as well. But I have lots of future episodes coming up on what happened this year and what we can do next year to make the NXL even a better entity for paintball, as we have to continue to push the sport to grow. And with that, I thank everybody for all your support, and I look forward to seeing all of you on the paintball field soon.